Good morning, Floss Tube. It's Julie with Reflections Framing and Stitching. Today is Tuesday. It is the 5th of May. I am back for Chart of the Day video 23 or 24. I didn't look before I started recording, so it's one of those numbers. Thank you for joining me today. Thank you for watching yesterday and commenting. It seems like a large portion of us do enjoy thunderstorms. I was a little disappointed yesterday because we never had them. It was forecasted to thunderstorm, but all we got was some rain in the morning, and then it just was yucky out the rest of the day. And no thunderstorms in my area. I'm sure someone somewhere had them, but we didn't, so I was a little disappointed. But yeah, with a couple of exceptions, everybody enjoys the thunderstorm. Some don't like the thunder, some don't like the lightning. I used to have a big fear of ball lightning when I first learned about it. You know, coming into your, like this big ball of lightning coming into your house, floating around your room. That kind of freaked me out when I first heard about that, but I think it's a pretty rare thing, so I've gotten over it. So yeah, thank you for answering that question. Today's chart of the day was new at Market. It's from La Di Da. It's a simple little piece called Little Summer Sampler. It's only 4 colors. There's a green, kind of a greeny yellow, blue, and a gray. It's there. They're all weeks. And this piece calls for pecan butter. I don't have pecan butter. I have a little bit of vintage pecan butter I can show you. I don't even know if it's big enough for the pillow, but it'll give you an idea of the color. But truly any kind of beigey, as long as this one here shows up, is going to work. I have a little piece of, I think this is just Exemplar. And this is a darker color. I don't know if you can tell that in the, but that would work fine too. Let's see if you can see the difference if I do this. Not really. A little bit maybe. But any beigey color, as long as the putty, the Weeks Dye Works putty, will show up on it, will work just fine for you. Now this one happens to be, you know, it's kind of a green. The letters are in the gray. There's some little blue flowers on it. The putty is for the numbers, and then this is all the vines and stuff that were on it, which is tarragon. But let's just, this is Battleship, which is kind of gray, but it's got a lot of blue in it. But let's just say you don't particularly like blue, or you want to stitch this up for some of your friends, different friends, and you don't want them all to be the same. It's a pretty easy fix to take these 3 colors and just add, okay, I'm going to do one in pink. So totally changes the look then. Or maybe you like red better. So I pulled a barn door. It still goes with all those colors, still looks good on that. Maybe you're more of a lavendery kind of girl. So here's some French lilac. So really it's a very versatile piece in that you can change the flower color and have a completely different look, which makes it nice. Now, then I got to thinking, well, what if I wanted to do something almost completely different? So I looked at some of my colored fabric and I ran across this one, which I have forgotten the name of right now. But you can see it's kind of a tealy green and it has some pinky in it. And hang on and I'll grab the bag of it. 40 count Fraser's Ridge is what this is. So it has some pink in it. And so I decided to just play a little and kind of pump up the colors just a little bit. So instead of the tarragon, I pulled pine. Instead of the seagull, I did king mackerel. Instead of the putty, I bumped it up and did crushed pineapple. And then I kept with the Meredith's, or the Madison Rose that I liked because of the pink that's in here. And that would give an entirely different look to that piece. So it's really kind of a very versatile piece. You just need to play a little bit with colors that you have in your stash. This pillow does call for a 40 count fabric. And as on a 40 count, finished size is going to be about 6 by 6. So if you did it in a smaller count, it's going to be a pretty significant sized pillow, not a little tiny pin pillow. But like I said, very versatile. You could do a lot of different things with it. So I hope you enjoyed the chart of the day today, which will lead us into the question of the day. Here it is. Do you or do you not use a needle minder when you stitch? I asked this question because Dan refuses to put a needle minder on his fabric, and he is forever losing his needle. So we spent a lot of time hunting for his needle, and I find them in weird places. The other day I found one in the upstairs hallway. So it must have ridden upstairs on his clothes when he went to bed at night. And you know, Remy tends to eat everything, so not a good thing. In case you're unaware, needle minders, they come in all shapes, sizes, types. This one just says eat, sleep, stitch. They're meant to go on your fabric when you're stitching. Just a second. And then you can just toss your needle onto it when you're done, when you're not using it, and it sticks, so you don't lose it. However, Dan doesn't. I don't know. He's got one on the. He uses an aught light, and he has one stuck on the neck of the aught light. But I don't think he ever bothers to use that either. I kind of float. Sometimes I have one on my fabric. Sometimes I think I showed maybe a year ago or so. I have a metal file cabinet that I keep a lot of my stitching supplies in next to my stitching chair. So I have needle minders stuck to that, and it's just right next to me. So a lot of times I will stick my needle over there, or even my scissors I stick onto the needle minder so they're not falling down in the chair with me, or when the dogs jump up on my lap they're not going to skewer themselves. But sometimes I keep the needle minder on my fabric too, depending on, I tend to stitch on with real small Q-snaps. I don't like a big, I kind of like a 11 by 6 is kind of what I like to use. It seems to keep the arthritis pain down in my shoulder. Otherwise that movement around the Q-snap just gets to bothering me after an hour of stitching, and I don't want to be bothered by it. So I kind of depends on the size of my Q-snap. If I feel like I have enough room for it, I will put it on the fabric. Otherwise, it sits on the side of the file cabinet, and I just toss my needle over there. So that is my question. Do you use one? Not use one? If you don't use one, why? Just curious. So I hope you all have a great day. Thank you again for supporting all your local needle workshops. Yes, they are starting to lift the restrictions a little bit, but I don't know how many of us really feel comfortable enough to let people in yet. And I don't know when that's going to happen. So we do continue to need your support. I hope you're all safe and doing well. And I will see you tomorrow, which would be Wednesday, for the Chart of the Day video. Thank you for joining me. Have a great day.